This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 823. Pay off your credit card debt and have personal finance success. And should I roll over my 401k? Both by Philip Taylor of ptmoney.com. And I am Dan. I'm the guy who reads to you from some of the best blogs on personal finance each and every weekday. And actually, I read about business as well. You can hear me narrate articles about management, entrepreneurship, freelancing, productivity, creativity, marketing, social media, and so much more over on the podcast Optimal Business Daily. But for this show, I have two posts for you today from a guy we were fortunate enough to meet at FinCon the past 2 years, Philip Taylor. Before we get to those two posts, hiring used to be hard. Multiple job sites, stacks of resumes, and a confusing review process. But today, hiring can be easy with ZipRecruiter, where 4 out of 5 employees who post a job get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. And now my listeners can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/OFD. That's ZipRecruiter.com/OFD. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Now let's get right to it as we start optimizing your life. Pay off your credit card debt and have personal finance success. By Philip Taylor of ptmoney.com. Do you have debt? I've carried my share of credit card debt. I signed up for my first 2 credit cards in college, to get the free t-shirt. By the time I left college, I had a decent amount of debt and 2 worn-out t-shirts. I wasn't paying this off every month, and so I was paying 20% or more in interest charges. Looking back, it's hard to believe I left college with this debt, considering I graduated with an advanced degree in accounting and was preparing for the CPA exam. I guess I was living for the future, thinking that first big payday would bail me out. After college, I got a few retail credit cards, to save 10% on more t-shirts. All this eventually added up to late charges, credit dings, and a bunch of high-interest, stupid debt. Bottom line, I let the credit card companies dictate when I applied for a credit card, and I wasn't being disciplined in the use of those cards. Well, there comes a time when we need to take this control back and be intentional about your finances. In other words, grow up. Well, if you're in this boat, there's never a better time than now to do this. Why I paid off my debt. So I paid off my debt for the following reasons. 1, I realized I was sick of paying for something that I had long since used. Dinners out, movies, vacations, etc. 2, I realized how much money I was throwing away on high-interest charges. And 3, I wanted to feel in control and in charge of my money and not have this burden hanging over my head. How I paid off my debt. I paid my debt off as quickly as possible. The first thing I did was look for a balance transfer credit card offer so I would eliminate the high-interest charges. There are sometimes offers without a balance transfer fee. These deals usually run around 12 months before more interest kicks in. There are dangers in doing a 0% balance transfer, but if you are disciplined, you will come out better off on the other side. Next, I simply divided my balance by the number of months left on the deal and planned to make that payment each month. For example, if the balance is $2,500 and it's a 0% interest deal for 12 months, the monthly payment would be around $210. That's $2,500 divided by 12. That was considerably more than my minimum payment, but I was ready to make a change. Getting out of this debt was going to hurt a little. If the monthly payment had been too high, say in the thousands, I would have considered doing a second balance transfer to stretch the 0% to 24 months. If the credit card companies wouldn't extend me the 0% offer, I would have listed my credit cards out highest interest first and planned to pay as much as possible each month on the highest one until it was paid off. Then I would move to the next highest interest card. Extreme measures. The next thing I did was a little extreme, but it was what I needed. I cut up my old cards and the new card I had transferred to, so I couldn't add any more credit card debt to my life. This was hard to do, but I was really excited about taking back control, and I wasn't going to let anything get in my way. And I have another post from PT which I'll share with you in just a sec, but first, thank you again to ZipRecruiter for sponsoring this episode. Hiring used to be hard, multiple job sites, stacks of resumes, a confusing review process. But today, hiring can be easy, and you only have to go to one place to get it done. ZipRecruiter.com/OFD. ZipRecruiter sends your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards, but they don't stop there. With their powerful matching technology, ZipRecruiter scans thousands of resumes to find people with the right experience and invite them to apply to your job. As applications come in, ZipRecruiter analyzes each one and spotlights the top candidates so you never miss a great match. ZipRecruiter is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. And right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/OFD. That's ZipRecruiter.com/OFD. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Should I Roll Over My 401k? By Philip Taylor of PTMoney.com. Every day, someone leaves a job and asks, should I roll over my 401k? Most of the time, the answer is yes. If you recently left a job, you should probably roll over your 401k. But there's more than one way to answer this question if you look at it closer. The answer really depends on where you are rolling over that 401k to. There are many places to put your old 401k funds. You could roll it over into your checking account, a new 401k, a rollover IRA, or even a Roth IRA. Let's review each of these moves and answer the question using each location. Should I roll over my 401k to an IRA? The 401k rollover to IRA is the most common type of rollover. You know that commercial with the little green line? This is the type of rollover they are referring to. You take your money from your 401k and put it directly into what's called a rollover IRA. It's a specific type of traditional IRA where you can stash your old 401k funds. What's great about this move is that there are no penalties, no taxes, and if you use the right broker, you get a lot more control over your money with much fewer expenses than if you left the money in your 401k. Note that even though this is the best way for most people to roll over their 401k, there are some reasons not to do a rollover. You're retiring early, there are stock options in your 401k, or you're planning a Roth conversion. If that's the case, discuss it with your CPA before making the rollover. Should I roll over my 401k to a new 401k? When you leave a job, you're most likely headed to a new one, where you'll start up a new 401k account. It's tempting to want to roll your old 401k into your new one. You can do this, and this may be right for you if your ultimate goal is simplicity. In general, though, 401ks give you much less flexibility and control than an IRA. Therefore, with less flexibility and control, you'll be less likely to ensure that your funds are being invested according to your needs. This isn't a bad move, but in my opinion, it's not the best. Should I roll over my 401k to a Roth IRA? You can now roll over your 401k directly to a Roth IRA, but because Roth IRAs have a different tax treatment than 401ks and traditional IRAs, you'll have to pay taxes on the rollover. Don't let this necessarily scare you away from this move. Roth IRAs have a huge benefit when it comes time to retire. Study the difference between a 401k and Roth IRA to help you understand if it's worth it to do a direct rollover to a Roth IRA from your 401k. Should I roll over my 401k to cash? Well, unless you are in dire straits, you should not roll over your 401k into cash. By doing this, you will essentially be taking an early withdrawal. You'll face a tax penalty from the IRS, and you'll also have to pay taxes on the money. If you receive a check from your old employer for the proceeds from your 401k, be sure to roll it over to an IRA, new 401k, or Roth IRA as soon as possible. In conclusion, it makes sense to roll over your 401k after you leave your job. Just make sure you roll it over to the right place. You just listened to the posts titled, Pay Off Your Credit Card Debt and Have Personal Finance Success, and Should I Roll Over My 401k? Both by Philip Taylor of PTMoney.com. And that'll do it for today. Thanks so much for being here and have a great rest of your Wednesday if you're listening in real time. I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.